Hey, welcome everyone to Wizards Pregame. Back for another Wizards game. We got Cardell Dudley Jr. and Wilson Tarpe Jr. Cardell, let's get straight into it. The Washington Wizards will be taking on the Philadelphia 76ers tonight. Washington's coming off a 120 to 112 win over the Orlando Magic. They built a double-digit lead in that one, but had to hold off a late charge from the Magic to secure that win. Philadelphia saw a three-game win streak snapped at the hands of the Denver Nuggets, 125 to 124. They're now 19 and 15 on the year, fourth in the Atlantic Division, and fifth in the Eastern Conference. The Sixers have won the first two games in this season series with the Wizards 139 to 134 back in October. And then to kick off December, they beat the Wizards 121 to 102. Uh, the injury report: Washington will be without Chris Middleton, C.J. McCollum, Keyshawn George, Ken Whitmore. In a late update, no Corey Kispert. Philadelphia has three players listed in game time decisions: and Trendon Watford, Kelly Oubre Jr., Joel Embiid. So Cardell, what are your keys to tonight's game? Washington hopes to, have another time this season when they get back to back wins.
Well, the Sixers are definitely different than in past years. You used to start everything with Joel Embiid, but things have changed. The head of this league is Tyrese Maxey. They got to they got to guard him, man. They got to really slow down the pace. He's gotten a lot better as a floor general at controlling pace, knowing when to go fast, knowing when to slow it down, knowing when to get guys their shots, and knowing when to attack. Before he was just score and then feed off that. Now he's kind of starting to master the flow of the game, man. He's become dangerous. He's one of the top point guards in the league. Um, lead the team with 31 points, 47, 40, 87 splits, averaging 7 assists a game, 4.7 rebounds, and most importantly, he doesn't really turn the ball over. He only averages 2.6 turnovers, and Philadelphia is 13th in the league in turnovers. My apologies, eighth in the league in turnovers per game, only turning it over 14.1 times. So they take care of the ball. They don't beat themselves, and he's a big reason for that. He has the ball in his hands the majority of the time, and he's busy orchestrating it. And he's held in pick and roll, especially when Embiid, which I'm gonna get to in a little bit. You don't. Washington really going to have to lock in defensively, especially coming off a back-to-back. Good win last night over Orlando. Going on the road to Philly, they're going to really have to key in and stay locked in because both of those guys know how to manipulate pick and roll actions with the best of them. And they both can put the ball in the basket. Let's call it what it is. They both can do it. So when it comes to Maxey, they got to really contain him. Pick your poison. My thing is he's too good to stop. All right, cool. Make him either a scorer or make him a playmaker, but you can't give him both because he's just going to control the game and just going to slowly dissect you, and Philly's going to win. So you got to take one thing away. Either he's going to have to score to beat you or make him make plays. And for me, the latter will probably be the better, make him make plays because that forces other people to step up. Now, Joel Embiid is capable, but I don't know how capable is he at this stage with all the wear and tear he has from injuries and all that to be able to carry that load. And obviously Alex Sarr has grown up. We're going to continue to see how much he's grown up in these type of matchups where you're going against him down the bit. But, that's the thing with Max. You got to pick your poison. And if they're able to do that, they give themselves a better chance. Obviously, Joel Embiid, it's crazy when a guy averages 23.4 points, 6.9 rebounds, 3.4 assists on 46% from the field, 83% from the line. He's not shooting as well from deep, 23%. We kind of look at that as like a down year when most centers would look at that as the career year. But that tells you how talented Embiid is. That we all know what he is, 3-level scorer, especially inside, nearly unstoppable, even with the wear and tear he has on his body. Then the mid-range, he got ISO, post up, effective pass out. When the double comes, he can do it all. One thing he that's underrated about him, he claws the paint. He's a pretty good defender inside. High grades across the board. Maybe post defense, as you can see, you can't miss. So Sarr, go at him. I mean, he put on his jersey and shorts just like you. Go at him, run the floor, make him run. Joel Embiid ain't trying to go sprint basket to basket. Sarr can run with the best of the bigs in the league. So that's an advantage for Sarr, and the Wizards love that pace. So you can do that, but on the perimeters where Sarr can have his way. You know what I mean? He ain't trying to move. Joel Embiid is not trying to move. He's not trying to navigate around those screens. He ain't chasing nobody. He's trying to stay in the paint and protect the rim, which he's great at. But outside of that, you can have your way with him, and that's one way you can pick on the Sixers. Next up, Kelly Oubre averaging 16.8 points, 5.1 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 1.1 steals. He's one of their better defenders. He's shooting 49% from the field, 34% from deep, 78% from the free throw line. Look, his game is off of more so being a 3-level scorer more than like a spot-up shooter. He's a streaky shooter, which means if he's on, he's on. He's tough to guard, but if he's not, it could be a struggle for him. But one thing he always brings is the defense, man. His perimeter defense is great. He's always been energetic. That's what got him drafted with his long arms. I think he got like a 7'2" wingspan, athletic. He can guard multiple positions. He gets back, he defends in transition. He covers all grounds except for ball screen navigation. So screen him, make him work. You know what I'm saying? He does, obviously with the upgrade, he doesn't like to deal with a lot of players do that. And the Wizards thrive off that. So that could be something to kind of neutralize his ability to impact the game defensively one-on-one. Thing he doesn't do well, make plays. Make him play, make him run him off the three-point line, make him make plays. Just crowd him, suffocate him, and make him make plays. But if you let him get going, he could be an X factor in this game that can tilt things in the Sixers way. Obviously, the rook, BJ Edgecombe going to be on all rookie first team easily. It's coming in the league averaging 16.5 points, 5.4 rebounds, 4.1 assists, 1.4 steals, 43-38, 77 shooting splits. You know what I mean? What can you say about young fella? He hell of a pick. But I'm not shocked. Saw him in college. So I saw him up close to the combine. Doing scout work. He's a talented guy. He fits well off of Maxey. A little bit bigger than Maxey, so he can deal with the twos, and he's super athletic. His defense is one of his calling cards. He can guard. I expect to kind of see him more so probably, split between Bilal and definitely CJ. And then, when Bub and Trey come in, he'll hop on them. 3-level score, especially from deep. He's efficient. His field goal percentage is low for a guy with his talent, but I think it's just more him with the degree of difficulty of him trying to score inside sometimes over multiple defenders. I think that's all it is. Once he gets adapted to that fully from learning, being in the league, I expect his field goal percentage to go up and knowing what type of shots to take. I think he's going to learn over time that runner and floater, that's simple, same amount of points. Instead of going in there trying to take on 3 bigs and finish over them all the time, you know what I mean? Take the runner and floater and call it a day, man. So I think once he gets more efficient in that area, obviously his game will go to a new level. So with the Sixers, man. But, hell of a talent. And obviously we can't forget about Paul George, who's quietly been having a solid season for them. 15.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.3 steals, only 1.9 turnovers, and that's key. When he's in the game, he's kind of like a secondary playmaker behind secondary floor general, running point forward stuff behind Maxey, and he can give Maxey a break off the ball and let Maxey go rock out and score, and he can run the show. Not shooting well from the field, 40%, but shooting well from deep, 39%, and 87% from the free throw line. So you can't put him on the free throw line. You got to guard him. And I think that's what he does. Does well. Obviously, wear and tear on him, similar to Embiid. So he's playing more chess and checkers than he used to. But if you're not careful, he can get it done still. You know what I'm saying? So you got to watch him, especially spotting up with all those weapons. He's easy to find spotting up, and he's a matchup nightmare because he can play. Obviously, he's 3, but he can play some forwards, especially against the Wizards. Wizards ain't got no bruising big, so Sarr and Bagley, he can get away with playing the 4 and maybe even the 5, depending on who's in the game tonight. So, he can do his thing and light him up, get to the mid post, and go to work, do what he normally does, and then make plays. So they really gotta focus in on him and a lot of these wings and keep them under control. So Maxey just won't have his pick of the litter, just finding everybody on top of dealing with Embiid inside. They have a lot of weapons, man. And now that they're healthy, they're finally starting to, you know, find the chemistry to try to make a run. So we're gonna see how it go, man. But yeah, overall as a team, they get a lot of field goals up. They're third in the league, 91.6 shot attempts. They 13th in 3-point percentage, 36.2. Free throws, they eighth in free throw makes, eighth in free throw attempts, and sixth in free throw percentage at 81.3. So you really have to guard them and keep them off the line. If you get in a lot of fouling and stuff like that, they'll beat you from the line because they have too many guys that can get to the line and can hit them. So you got to be careful with that. And they're third in blocks, 6.1 per game. They're 13th in steals, 8.4. I told you about the turnovers, man. And they're 14th in the league in points per game, 117.2. So they're pretty potent, man. They have weaknesses, mostly the pace. That's where the Wizards thrive at. I suggest they get up and down the floor. As long as their defense hold up offensively, they should be able to get what they need. But they got to make shots because I feel like with Embiid and them down there and the type of wings that they have, if they don't make shots, they're going to lose that rebounding battle. And that rebound battle might quietly be the reason why they lose the game.
For sure. Another thing, you mentioned the previous two times they played, and they didn't do it. They have to slow down. They got to slow down Maxi. This season, in 2 games, he's averaging 37 points, 8 assists, and 3.5 rebounds. Right?
Sheesh.
Yeah. Because you were talking and looking at the graphics, I was like, right off the top of my head, I remember him having some crazy runs against Washington earlier, but that was months ago. Let me just go look it up to make sure my mind's still working. Yeah, and he shot 47 from the floor over those 2 games and 39 from three.
It starts with him, man. If you don't slow him down, it's tough to beat Philly. Especially now that they're healthy. Maybe when they weren't healthy, you could get them because he would have to drop 40 and like 40, 10, and 7 or something like that to beat you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you got to slow him down. It's not easy to do. But you got to pick your poison with great players, man. You got to take something away. You can't give them everything, and that's what the challenge is for the Wizards, man.
Hey, we will see how they do. You guys enjoy the nice game, and we will talk to you guys afterwards. The Wizards